Everyone, this is GOL from Man Productions², and we're back today to do the just more work on our advanced weapons plugin. So I think I may have figured out why those windows are so screwed up. Maybe. So I was kind of going through the code last night, and I was looking at it, and I was thinking, maybe it's because we're creating these things over and over again. Because if you remember this code over here, we were creating the gold window over and over again up here, and we're creating these. And I just wanted to, and also there was some weirdness going on where it wasn't properly setting the right IDs to remove from the lists, the weapon list, once you synthesize something. So what I said I was going to do is I was going to just basically create all the windows at the beginning of the scene, and then just call them and show them and hide them whenever I needed to, not actually get rid of them. Or not actually create them down below and any of the other stuff. And then the second thing I was going to do is I was going to basically change how we dealt with basically putting weapons into these windows. So I basically stopped. I've taken out all the passes where we're passing through a weapon to it, and instead what we're doing is we're going to create a new function up here called get weapon in for game player. Takes a weapon ID and then returns the weapon object. So I also changed the delete weapon as well, or remove party weapon, so that it's different now. So that we pass through a weapon ID, and then we go through the index of the party weapons, or game party weapons. We loop through it and get the actual index of the one where the ID is the same as the one's passed through. That way we know that the index is the correct one. In addition to that, though, to make sure it's absolutely going to be right, we're making these other changes to where we're actually, instead of just passing through a weapon object, what we're doing is we're passing through weapon IDs. And then whenever we need to update or set a weapon, we're using that ID to pull that particular weapon from the game party weapons list, instead of actually passing through an object. That way we know that we have the same weapon every time, and that it'll work properly when we want it to work properly. So I was in the middle of fixing up all the code to work with the new way these are going. I also decided to, because we're doing that, we're not passing through the weapon, so when we initialize these windows, they're not getting a weapon assigned to them. So we have to do on the things where we were creating the bits and things to put into the window, like for example on the level up window where we have the requirements. Those are being generated at the initialization of the window using the pass-through weapon. So instead, I pulled that stuff out of the initialization and created a new function called prepare window, which is in a bunch of these other windows. Basically, just calls those functions after we've called set weapon. Let's see. I have to try to remember where exactly we were at. I think level up windows where we're at. That's the last one I think I remember doing. What I'm hoping, though, is that by doing this, we're going to solve that issue with the refine window and gold window not working properly. Not hiding properly, I should say. Alright, so prepare window. Yeah. Let's take a look at gold. Alright, refine. Now maybe I did do refine too. I got that stuff here. Okay, refine, that's done. Process, okay. Let's remove that. And synthesize, we've done that as well, okay. So I guess all the changes we still have to do are up here in the scene. Alright. So now, let's create level up window. So on action select, selection level up. So we're hiding and deactivating the action window. We are refreshing the stat window. We are setting the level up window weapon to weapon list wind. Get selected weapon. We are preparing the window, refreshing it, showing it, activating it, selecting it. Then we are updating the gold, show and refreshing it on the gold window. Refine. Alright, so we're on the refine section here. So what we need to do is same thing we did here with the set weapon and prepare window. For some reason, it's not complaining about all these missing semicolons. Then this .ref window, prepare window. Then we'll call the refresh up there. Okay, synthesize. Donor list window. I don't think we have to pass anything through to that one. I could be wrong though, so let's go check. Weapon list, donor weapon list. Alright. So, stat wind. Nope, I am wrong. We do need to. Let's also not call refresh from within it. So this dot prepare window. Throw that in there. Alright. Then we need to call the set. Let's So it should be a set base weapon. Call that, and then we need to call prepare. Alright, should activate update stat window true, then refresh it. Alright, so on donor select. So synth window. I think that's what it's called. And to synthesize, yeah, set base and donor weapon. So base weapon will be this underscore wep list window dot get selected weapon, and then this underscore synth. Get selected donor weapon. Then we'll call this underscore synth window dot prepare window. Then we'll call refresh. We will need to update and show the gold window as well. Right. So, on synth OK. So, hide and deactivate the synth window. We should call set weapon again, so we can update it. And it should update automatically. Well, maybe or maybe not, but it should update automatically. But again, just to make sure we have the right weapon, we're going to call this to underscore wep act wind dot set weapon. Now we're going to call it from the, just make sure we have the same ID again, so it's going to be this dot wep list dot get selected weapon. Okay, now let's see if let's see what issues pop up from that. I'll have to fix a bunch of stuff probably. There's no the code's not malformed, which is good. Alright, so donor weapon undefined. Very first thing. Cell line 821. Oh, is that because we're calling select on it? I think so. Yeah, so let's make sure that we're not calling select on any of this stuff. Technically, we don't really need to. I don't think. It just makes it so the cursor shows up automatically, I think, when you do a select. At the same time, if you do it at the wrong time, still though, why are we down to here for? Donor weapon list prototype select. I wonder if it's just doing that because we are initializing it. Well, no, it shouldn't do that because it didn't do that before. Let's see, any other selects? Yes, here's one. Okay. Alright, still an issue. So set donor weapon of undefined. So let's see what's actually undefined. Status window. Really? It's on donor weapon list. Okay, so donor Plus that one, they're passing that through. Are we calling the right thing? Does at the beginning it should be calling it from weapon list, not donor weapon list. Check the or down further. Okay, so create windows, blah 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 blah. Wep list window, show activate, help window, show weps dat window, and refresh it. So we're doing wep list window, which is what we want to do. We are creating everything at once. Donor. So I just want to go down here. What line is that? 557. And then 8. Uh, 11. Oh. This step prepare window. Belt com list. Yeah. Let's see. Get selected donor weapon. This should be a set weapon or something. Set base weapon. So that's actually calling. Okay, maybe that's why. So donor, that would be on the actions, so that would be up here. So weapon donor list set base weapon prepare. Okay, I see where I'm doing that here. Calling it up here, but I didn't remove the prepare window call from down here, which might be why that was happening. Say heavy might. I still expect there to be an error maybe there. Okay, so yeah, we're creating it, and we're still falling down into here. Prototype select. Index is -1. So let's add a check here. We might have to do this in all of them, but I'll make a check here to say if the index is -1, don't process it. Or, yeah. So only process if index is not -1. And that's on the donor list. Donor list.select. So build a com, select, here we go. If index is not equal to -1. Else do nothing. So that should stop it from crashing at that place. I suspect you might have to do that with everything so that it doesn't. Well, it only happens with this one though, which is interesting. It doesn't happen to any of the other ones. Because there's other places where we're using this exact kind of thing and it's not crashing. Well, actually, technically, the only one we're using is wep list. That's the same as this one, and that's at the beginning where we actually have something passed to it. So. Alright, get rid of that. Alright, connect property 0 undefined. Where's that one at? That's in the... also at the donor list. Draw action item. Why is this getting... where are we calling refresh on this from? We're calling refresh on it from somewhere. And it shouldn't be being refreshed. We'll find this underscore donor list. Donor wep list window. Alright, so on synthesize we're calling refresh, create drop. Oh, that's why. We're calling it on the create here. We don't need to be. Shouldn't be. Okay, now we don't need that other stuff we put in. As long as we're not refreshing it when we create it, because it's not set up properly yet, then that doesn't matter. Okay, so that shouldn't be causing an issue now. Cannot repurpose that donor weapon. Fine. And yet here we are still. Same place, right? Yeah. Well, 808, which is yep, same place. Okay, so we're still calling refresh from somewhere. So, on synthesize, that's the only place we're calling it from. On the selection of synthesize. So perhaps it is still doing a select when we are initializing it. Where's the, oh, call stack is not paused. Alright, let's put a break here. See if we can't figure out where it's calling from. Alright, so, selectable, when it's selectable, deactivate, initialize. So on initialize, it's calling, so when we call donor wep list initialize, we're calling the when it's selectable initialize, which is calling reselect. And that's calling this select, which is causing our issue. So, because on select we're doing this stuff. And since we're not really doing this on any other of the windows, that's why. Because this and the list weapon window are the only ones where we're actually setting something to the status window when we are doing anything with the select. So yeah, we still need the index -1. It's just that we weren't doubly calling it with the bloody refresh. We still need it down there, so 808. Alright, here it is. Alright, this if index does not equal -1, then process the select. Else ignore it, because it's not a valid call. Well, it is a valid call, but not for how we're doing the window. Alright, so we got this stuff here. Good. So everything drew at once. So, I guess what we'll need to do is we'll need to hide everything on the hide and deactivate on when we create it. So let's go ahead and